chance to escape Murdoch'sembrace. In 2009, I attended the wedding of News International Chief Executive Rebecca Brooks. The ceremony took place by a lake at a country estate. I stood next to TV presenter Piers Morgan, while Paul Deck, Daily Mail editor, was a few yards away. Rupert Murdoch was closer to the action. David Cameron hung back up the slope. Gordon Brown, then Prime Minister, arrived late, with all eyes turning to him as he walked down the lake. At the reception, I had a brief conversation with Mr. Cameron. I said I hoped he would not win the upcoming election, but that if we did and if we wanted to act to improve political debate and standards in the press, I would support him. For some time, the journalist in me had known that the relationship between politics and the media was not serving the public, but it was my first-hand experience of this developing culture of views and negativity that convinced me Britain's press and 24-hour news were making it more difficult for elected leaders to govern. It's got worse, hasn't it? He said. I replied that he would be a much stronger prime minister were he to take office, not feeling he owed anything to the big media groups. At that point, Mr. Murdoch joined us and we changed the subject. Perhaps we should not have done so. That we did, however, illustrated something of the dishonesty at the heart of what are essentially political and commercial relationship. It is not easy to do what Ed Miliband, Labour leader, did last week, make himself an enemy of some of the media's most powerful forces. He was right that Labour got too close to News International, but he was also right that, given the media bias against us, he knew why we tried to level the playing field. In my own defense, and as my diary shows, I argued for some years with Tony Blair that we needed to act on the culture of our media. At one point, he ticked me off, asking that I not make my views so obvious in front of Mr. Murdoch, his son James and Liz Hinton, then chief executive of News International. Ultimately, Mr. Blair thought the press had become a problem, but that given all our other priorities, people would not understand our taking them on. He also thought it would look like revenge for the fact they had turned against us. And there were political considerations too. Trying to govern and win election is hard enough without the press being against you. I accept that, for all of us, at times media support was something we courted at the expense of positions of principle on media issues. But that trap has now been sprung. The latest revelation have forced the police, News International, and the government to act. The police will now be more vigorous. News International will continue with their kamikaze crisis management, which one day will be studied as a textbook case of how not to do it. But the most important development are the most Prime Minister during inquiries into press practices and a news